Okay. Give a shout out to my audience definitely for the ideas on videos. So I will be doing a video on Neturei Karta. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but no, basically the super Orthodox Jews who oppose Israel, basically because in the I'm trying to think of it now. I keep on wanting to say Talmud, but I know that's not it. The Torah, that until the Messiah comes back, only then can they return to Israel. And they oppose Zionism. So I will be covering that in an... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, this is that video. Oh, crap. Okay, well, screw it. I guess I'll go ahead and talk about it. So I kind of outlined Neturei Karta basically opposes Israel as it is today because they oppose Zionism, and basically because they, according to the Torah, you have to wait, Jews have to wait until the Messiah returns, and then you can return to Israel. So they see that as just kind of a blasphemous sort of belief. That's at least my take on it. They oppose Zionism and call for a peaceful dismantling of the state of Israel in the belief that Jews are forbidden to have their own state until the coming of the Jewish Messiah, as I said. And the state of Israel is a rebellion against God. While the Neturei Karta describe themselves as true traditional Jews, the more secular U.S.-based Jewish Anti-Defamation League has described them as the farthest fringes of Judaism. In Israel, some members also pray at an affiliated Beit Midrash, or Beth Midrash, there we go, Midrash, Jewish school located in the synagogue, yeshiva. Distinct from a synagogue, although many synagogues are also used as Batei Midrash. Interesting. It's a hall, basically, yeah. Jewish Virtual Library puts their numbers at 5,000, so fairly small group. So the thing is, they do oppose Israel as it is. Another outward growth of this, I don't think that they are still officially connected, but the Hasidic Jews, which are considered more of the Orthodox Jews, oppose the state of Israel because they want to put them in the military. And there have been many protests over the years of them saying, no, we don't want to join the military. So there's a little bit of that goes on as well. Okay, yeah. Neturei Karta is a name usually given to those people who regularly pray in the Neturei Karta Torah V'yira, Jerusalem Torah Ufe. Yeah, basically, okay. Study in or send their children to educational institutions run by Neturei Karta, or actually participate in activities, assemblies, or demonstrations called by the Neturei Karta. Aramaic. Okay, so here's the idea. Okay, it's in the Jerusalem Talmud. Okay. In one town, they asked to see the guardians of the city, which is what Neturei Karta means. And the city guard was paraded before them. They said that these were not the guardians of the city, but its destroyers, which prompted the citizens to ask who then could be the guardians. The rabbis answered, the scribes and the scholars, referring them to the Tehillim, the Psalms, chapter 127. It is this role that Neturei Karta see themselves as fulfilling by defending what they believe is the position of the Torah and the authentic, unadulterated Judaism. Yeah, so they're part of the Haredim and Zionism. Yeah, like I say, there's so much stuff to talk about with, the Haredim, the more Orthodox Jewish believers. Like I say, this is where you get, this is where people like Jason Unruh will talk about, well, Jewishness is the real source, is the real thing against Zionism. I don't know about that. Other Orthodox movements include some who oppose Zionism, have denounced the activities of the radical branch of Neturei Karta. Let's see here. What is said in the Musaf, the standing prayer of Yom Tov, that because of their sins, the Jewish people went into exile from the land of Israel. Additionally, they maintain the view that based on the Babylonian Talmud, that any form of forceful recapture of the land of Israel is a violation of divine will. They believe that the restoration of the land of Israel to the Jews should happen only with the coming of the Messiah, not by self-determination. Factionalism. Okay. Beckett courted controversy by meeting with the Nation of Islam leader, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who had been accused of... Okay. Almost a year after the Gaza war, a group from Neturei Karta crossed into Gaza as part of the Gaza Freedom March to celebrate Jewish Shabbos to show support for Palestinians in the Hamas-ruled enclave. Let's see here. Relations with Iran and President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. Several members of Neturei Karta's faction visited Iran, where they met with Iranian leaders, including the vice president, and praised Ahmadinejad for calling the Zionist regime occupying Jerusalem to vanish from the pages of time. Tehran Holocaust Conference. Vice explained that the occurrence was irrefutable and spoke about the murder of his own grandparents at Auschwitz. Okay. Called Sikarim mainly in Jerusalem. And so the thing is, look, the thing I have a problem with is this, with Neturei Karta. They basically have the same beliefs as Israel. It's just that according to the Torah and the Talmud, it says you have to wait until the Messiah comes back. So everything would still be the same in Israel as it is. It's just that if the Messiah returned, then it would be the same way as it is now in Israel. Like I say, that's why I very much hesitate. Neturei Karta, or Neturei Karta. I kind of I understand people want the legitimacy, and countries want the legitimacy. Iran wants a legitimacy to say, see, we don't hate Jews, and I'm not going to sit here. I'm not sitting here and playing the Zionist game. I'm just saying is that in terms of legitimacy, this is how they see of how to get it, to bring in these members of Neturei Karta into the fold. I get it, but I feel like it's kind of, I don't know. That's basically my feeling about it. I'm very cautious about it. Let me see that. Yeah, Moshe Berbek passed away. Oh, okay, he passed away this year. He was born in Hungary. Benai Barak, Israel, where he began yeshiva studies. 1959, he married, and at that time joined Neturei Karta. I don't know why I keep saying neuter. It just looks like that. Neturei Karta, leaving the Vizhnitz Hasidic movement, which he had formerly been a part. He left Israel in 1970 because, he said, of his strong opposition to Zionism, and has since lived in Monsey, New York. Monsey, New York is a huge Jewish area. This is somewhere that they have been buying up land, and they've been kicking people out. The recent attacks occurred in Monsey as well. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on in Monsey, New York, just to say. So there's anti-Zionist campaigning that occurred, known as the Haredi opponent of Zionism. Like I said, this is where a lot of the anti-Zionist sort of folks talk about, where it's just like, well, Judaism and Israel are two different things. It's like, yeah, that's true to a point. I don't know. Maybe I'm just kind of. I don't know. To me, it seems kind of. This is the whole problem with the left versus religion. Like I say, this gets into the idea where it's like, you'll have Lenin, of course, say, and I've repeated it over and over. I'll say it again. We are dialectical materialists. We are positively against religion. Now, I'm not going to fall into the Wignat or the, like some Ukrainian propaganda and start saying, oh, well, the Bolsheviks massacred all the, Orthodox Christians. It's like, look, they did a fair amount of that, and then Stalin reversed that, obviously, because Stalin was in the process of becoming an Orthodox priest. You also have people like Felix Dzerzhinsky, who was Catholic. So, I don't know. It's very complicated to me, but it's like, you kind of have this very hypocritical back and forth. You'll have people like Vosh who will say, well, I don't like, he'll say, he'll go on these rants and raves, of course, like we all do. And he'll say stuff like, religion is the reason why this world is this way. Christianity is the reason why it's this way. And then he'll say, but Jewishness is a different thing. It's just like, you realize that you are proving the Wignat's point, right? You realize that, right? When you say that Jewishness is different from Israel, it's just like, what are you talking about? I don't understand that type of stuff, man. How can you be, against religion and say, well, Christianity is the most evil thing, but Jewishness is okay? Or it's just like, huh? You're just proving the Wignat's right. You're just proving folks right that say, well, they just want to destroy Christianity. Like I say, it makes me want to lapse back, but I feel like it's very, very complex. And ultimately, it's like, if the Talmud and the Torah were written differently, this really wouldn't be an issue, would it? Okay. Okay. Beck's opposition to Zionism is based, he said, upon the works of Yoel Teitelbaum, specifically Vayuel Moshe. Okay, let's see here. A lengthy work which aims to demonstrate that Jews are commanded by the Torah to remain in exile until redeemed by the Messiah, and are therefore prohibited to establish an independent country. So the thing, it's basically just a technicality. I'm sorry to be like this. I really am, but it's like, I don't know. As y'all know, I do not care for specific political groups. I may have my own beliefs, but I also have the feeling it's like, I don't want to be a chump either for some larger group. And I feel like this sort of stuff is like, people want to use this group as a way to legitimize their own power, So it doesn't feel right to me. I'll be honest with you. It just doesn't feel right. This is a way to legitimize somebody else's power. But yeah. Major figure in the post-war Hasidim. Let's see what we got here. Letters of ordination from 8 prominent rabbis. Oh, wow. Moshe Greenwald. Oh, boy. You boy. Probably not related to Glenn Greenwald, but yeah. Sorry, I'm just doing a little bit of reading here. Yeah. Opposition to Zionism. He encourages followers in Israel to form self-sufficient communities with the assistance of the state of Israel. Without the assistance of the state of Israel. Okay, so no kibbutzes, basically. Okay. For World War II, most Hasidic rabbis, as well as many other prominent Orthodox rabbis and leaders, believe that God had promised to return the Jewish people to the land of Israel under the leadership of the Moshiach.
Here's this for your greasy hands.
I washed my hands already. Thank you, though. Okay, and I'm just going to leave that in. Okay. believed that God had promised to return the Jewish people to the land of Israel, Moshiach, who would arrive when the Jewish people had merited redemption. While awaiting the Messiah, the Jewish people were to perform the mitzvot of 613 commandments. Woo! Yowza! And were not to antagonize or rebel against the Gentile nations of the world. In the years following the Holocaust, Teitelbaum undertook to strengthen this position. In Teitelbaum's view, the founding of the modern state of Israel, founded by secular as well as religious Jews rather than the Moshiach, Messiah in Jerusalem, in Judaism, in Jewish eschatology, who is believed to be the future redeemer of the Jewish people. The concept of messianism originated in Judaism and in the Hebrew. Yeah. Oh boy. So I'll look at this here in a moment too. But this just, it feels like a technicality. For citations, other opinions, Jewish law, he argued with Moshe Feinstein over the proper height of the Mechitza in Jewish halakha is a partition, particularly of one that is used to separate men and women. Oh, this is the one in church divided between men and women, the proper height. Feinstein held that the Mechitza need go only up to the shoulders of the average woman, while Teitelbaum argued that the Mechitza should not allow women to be seen at all. I don't know, that's kind of trad in some ways, but I'm not necessarily a trad person. Yeah. Teitelbaum was very opposed to the use of a tube for Metziza. It's a Jewish religious male circumcision ceremony. Today is performed by Mohel on the 8th day after the infant's birth. And felt that this change in procedure would spiritually lead to more promiscuity. Teitelbaum encouraged all married Hasidic men to wear ceremonial fur hats, although these were not worn by most Hasidic men in Hungary before the war. Teitelbaum felt that in America it is more important for people to look very different from the rest of the population in order to prevent assimilation, which was more rampant in America than it had been in Hungary. Teitelbaum held that boys and girls shouldn't meet more than 2 or 3 times before getting engaged. Strongly opposed the wearing of wigs by married women. He felt that this was prohibited on Jewish legal ground. He wanted women to cover their hair with something else instead. Oh, wow. And he's bringing some Christians, to boot here. But yeah, Messiah in Judaism. So let's read this a little bit here. That way we can try to get some better context. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, Maimonides. I know that he's a big character in, or Messiah refers specifically to the future Jewish king, of the Davidic line, who is expected to save the Jewish nation and will be anointed with holy anointing oil. And rule the Jewish people during the Messianic age. The Messiah is often referred to as King Messiah, or in Hebrew, Melech Mashiach, and in Aramaic, I'm not going to do that, yeah. In a generalized sense, Messiah has the connotation of a savior or redeemer who would appear at the end of days and usher in the kingdom of God, the restoration of Israel, or whatever dispensation was considered to be the ideal state of the world. Messianism denotes a movement or system of beliefs and ideas centered on the expectation of the advent of a Messiah. Orthodox views hold that the Messiah will be descended from his father through the line of King David. I'm sorry, I'm getting some vibes here. I'm sorry. I know I'm really trying not to be anti-Semitic or anything. This feels like a form of royalty. This feels like like a monarchist sort of sense. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. This is very, very specific, isn't it? Okay, so from the line of King David, yeah. descended from his father through the line of King David, and will gather the Jews back to the land into the land of Israel, usher in an era of peace, build the third temple, father a male heir, reinstitute the Sanhedrin. I know I've heard of that before, yeah. Were assemblies of either 23 or 71 elders. 23 or 71, that's a wide range, who were anointed to sit as a tribunal in every city in the ancient land of Israel. Jewish tradition of the late or early second post-temple. Okay, wow. Belief in the future advent of the Messiah is one of the fundamental requisites of the Jewish faith, concerning which Maimonides has written, anyone who does not believe in him or who does not wait for his arrival has not merely denied the other prophets, but has also denied the Torah and Moses, our rabbi. Wow. So there you go. God resurrects the dead. God creates a new heaven and a new earth. Yeah. Book of Daniel. Book of Enoch. Yeah. Rejection of Jesus as the Messiah. Christianity started as a messianic Jewish sect. Most of Jesus' teachings were intelligible and acceptable in terms of this is the whole pagan sort of stuff. Hey, you believe in a Jew on a stick. I'm not going to get, like I say, yeah. Paganism is still cringe, though. According to Lair Hurtado, the Christology and devotional stance that Paul affirmed and shared with others in the early Jesus movement was not a departure from or a transcending of a supposedly monochrome Jewish messianism, but instead a distinctive expression with a variegated body of Jewish messianic hopes. According to Maimonides, Jesus was the most influential and consequently the most damaging of false messiahs. However, since the traditional Jewish belief is that the Messiah has not yet come and the Messianic age is not yet present, the total rejection of Jesus as either Messiah or deity has never been a central issue for Judaism. Judaism has never accepted any of the claimed fulfillments of the prophecy that Christianity attributes to Jesus. Judaism forbids the worship of a person as a form of idolatry, since the central belief of Judaism is the absolute unity and singularity of God. Hence, since Jews believe that none of these events occurred during the lifetime of Jesus, nor have they occurred afterwards, he was not the Messiah. Traditional views of Jesus have been mostly negative. See Toledat Yeshu, an account that portrays Jesus as an impostor. Although in the Middle Ages, Judah Halevi and Maimonides viewed Jesus as an important preparatory figure for the future universal ethnic monotheism of the Messianic age, some modern Jewish thinkers, starting in the 18th century with the Orthodox Jacob Emden and the reformer Moses Mendelssohn, have sympathetically argued that the historical Jesus may have been closer to Judaism than either the Gospels or traditional Jewish accounts would indicate. Yeah. This Maimonides guy is a Moses ben Maimon. That's probably easier. Also referred to, this guy, influenced by Al-Farabi. Oh, wow. He was influenced by Islamic philosopher and jurist Ibn Sina, another Persian polymath. Okay. And his contemporary Ibn Rushd. Huh. Well, there you go. I know I'm mispronouncing these. I apologize. I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm just an ignorant American. So he was born in Spain and then died in Egypt. Huh. Wow. Like I say, this is... Oh, man. It's really tough to talk about these things because I know that... it's a mess. Anyway, I tried my best to explain sort of what happens with Neturei Karta and my thoughts on it. So It's probably not the best, but I hope y'all enjoyed that. See you later, and goodbye.